They were not looking at grasshoppers. They were trying to find ways to hide. Because God's people were coming. And if the 12 spies had just seen things through God's eyes, like we sang up here a while ago, they'd have taken the land. They wouldn't have had to walk around in the desert for 40 years. Can you imagine how that would be, how boring and defeated that would be? Never experiencing what God had promised you. And yet the people they were so afraid of, that looked like the giants to them, their hearts were melting in fear on the other side. Because God's people were coming. I don't want to see you give in to the enemy when he throws up the obstacles. I don't want to see people here maybe who lost a home and they're just, they resign themselves to the fact they'll never have a home again. I don't know that that's true. And a lot of retirement money disappeared. I'm not so sure the Lord can't replace that. And I lost my job, and how am I going to get a job? I mean, there's millions of people looking for work right now, and I'm just competing against millions of people. Yeah, but you have the Lord with you. He knew you were going to be out of that job, and probably because you're going into something better. So why let the enemy beat our brains out with this stuff and cause us to keep retreating and backing up when the Lord is just saying, that way? Don't give up on the promises. If He put the promise in your heart, He's going to bring it to pass. And regardless of obstacles that happen to be there, you know what? We're going to see these things won over in time. And so as individuals and in our own walk with the Lord, and as a body of believers here, just holding one another up and supporting one another and encourage one another, we're going to win this thing. It doesn't matter what's going on out there. They can be health issues. They can be relationship. It doesn't matter what it is. If God put the promise in your heart, or He told you He wanted you to do this or go there or accomplish something, that's exactly what He's planning for you to do. And not give up the first time you run into a bump. I mean, can you imagine trying to go to any of the shopping malls or supermarket if the first car that hit the speed bump stopped? And we'd all be backed up behind them, and what in the world is going on? But that's what we do in our spiritual life. We hit something, wow, we better just back off of this. The enemy throws up a lot of speed bumps. Well, that little baby is 16 now. Top scorer on her soccer team. She got all A's and B's on her last report card. In fact, she brought it to me with her hands behind her back. And she pulled out a report card and said, "Look at this, Poppy." And you know what that means. Show me the money. We've had our ups and downs. She hasn't been the grandchild you always wanted. From time to time, she could be a pain in the neck. But she's a great kid. She can hear, she can see, she can walk, she can talk. In fact, we spent the best part of her life telling her to sit down and shut up. So what has God promised you? And where are the giants in your life? What are the walled cities? I can't possibly get through this or win over this thing. What are they? Health, finances, relationships, jobs. But it doesn't matter what it is. If God told you He's given it to you, He's given it to you. Now don't let the enemy talk you out of it. Just keep pressing on. Things haven't gone the way we expected. Okay, so we course correct. I mean, that's just normal. If there's a job out there for you that God has, you're going to get it. It's just a matter of taking, a month or 6 months or a year or 7 years or however long we let the enemy talk us out of it. Until finally God gets our attention and said, let's go. And you step in and accomplish what He called you to do. Whatever these things are, Romans 8:37 says we are more than conquerors. Through Christ, super, over, and above. And 1 John 4:4, greater is he that's in you than he that's in the world. So we have a choice. Which report are we going to believe? And fortunately, sharing this with the kids, we believed our doctor's report. And things started getting better. And slowly, day by day, they just seemed to improve. They had a condition, everything they gave her to eat, she threw up. And so they said, I think we're going to have to go in and do surgery. Her stomach is blocked and this and that. And Dr. John said, it could be a stomach flu or something. Why don't we give it a day or two? Guess what? We continued to have 2 reports for most of her life, right up to now. And whatever we face, we see these 2 glaring differences between the outcomes. And we've reached a point where, okay, we know which one we're going to believe. And you guys, you got the same opportunity. You can believe all the negative stuff, talk yourself into believing it can't ever happen, or you can just believe God said it. That settles it. Let's just go do it. And I hope that's the one you choose. I want to see you guys all accomplish what God called you to do, both individually and as a church, and see the impact you can have here in this community and throughout the whole Bay Area. We got an opportunity here to make a difference. That's why He called us. So don't give up on the promise. Just hang in there. Keep pressing. Pastor.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rick, for the message today, and I hope all of you are encouraged by